I don't know how I did this 9.5 days in a row on the Sheltoe Trace. I mean, I went face first into the stream. It came up and landed on my neck. Guys, there's a herd of elk in front of me. There's no way I'm stopping until I get over 40 miles. I'm starting to get that warm, fuzzy feeling inside. Got about 71 to 73 miles on the Quehanna Trail, and I'm hoping to be out tomorrow afternoon at the latest. Okay, it's time to do this. It's 5:45 a.m. Saturday, March 14th. This is what it looks like hiking in the dark early this morning. I've been out here about an hour and a half. The trail has been in very good condition. A few swampy spots, but I'm not complaining at all. It is very good. Oh, I just stepped in some soup right there. Trail crews have been out in front of me. At the park office, they said no one has maintained the trail yet this year. Not until the end of the month or the 1st of April. But I have seen fresh trees cut out of the path numerous times in the last few miles, so they have been out ahead of me, thank goodness. Back into the pine forest. Ooh, dark and spooky. Starting to see some of these open prairie land like stuff. It's beautiful. It kind of reminds me of Dolly Sods a little bit, and they do call this the Dolly Sods of Pennsylvania. There's that beautiful sunshine. Oh yeah. Very nice. Oh, that's absolutely gorgeous. It's been a very enjoyable hike. Hopefully I don't have to walk through all that boggy swamp land down there. I've seen some beaver activity here and there. I recognize this section of the trail from many videos I've watched. Well, I've decided to take a little break and give you guys an update. It's just about high noon. Been on the trail for officially 6 hours now, and I'm at 21 miles. So about halfway through the day. I'm on pace. Check out this view behind me. Holy moly. Well, like I said, 6 hours on the trail, 21 miles. I've probably jogged about a fourth of it, and I did that to maintain my 3.5 miles an hour. I'm starting to fall off of it just a little bit, about 3.4. But I'm pretty happy with how things are going. I feel pretty good. But this is definitely the time of the day where you start to hit the wall. My legs are getting tired, and they're telling me it's time to stop. But this is where you have to persevere and not think about the pain, think about what's ahead. And it's kind of it's almost like a mind game, a mental thing, just to keep pushing through this, because it would be nice to stop right now and relax and make a big bonfire. I'm not going to lie. But I have 21 more miles to go. I'm hoping to get to where I want to be, mile 41, 42, 43, before dark, between 7 and 30. We'll see how I feel. If I feel good at that point, I may continue on and just hike in the dark a little bit. But there's no way I'm stopping until I get over 40 miles, because I do not want any more than 30 miles tomorrow. I'd rather put in the difficult miles today and make it a little bit easier tomorrow. All right, I'm gonna sit down and rest for 2 minutes and then back on the trail. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to jog much more. Usually after 20, 21 miles, my legs are pretty much shot for trying to jog. So my goal is to maintain a minimum of 3 miles an hour. So I still gotta walk pretty fast to keep that pace, especially with some of these rocky areas and boggy areas. So every now and then I still may jog a little bit just to make sure I'm over 3 miles an hour. And that should get me to where I want to be before dark. I think I'm going to take a 1 minute break and enjoy this view. This fantastic, spectacular, phenomenal overlook. I am at the marathon distance, 26.2 miles, and been on the trail for 8 hours. I'm getting pretty tired, and mainly because about a half mile ago, I had to go up a half-mile hill out of Mosquito River area, and it was a killer. One of the longest hill climbs I've ever done. And it reminded me a little bit of the hill in Laurel Highlands, somewhere there in the first 6 miles, how the hill just goes and goes and goes. Another thing I forgot to mention earlier, this morning, when it was still dark out, I spooked a grouse. I mean, a foot away from the trail. I almost stepped on it, and it startled the crap out of me. That thing took off, and my headlight blinded it or something, because it came up and landed on my neck, on the back of my neck, on top of my backpack. And I had chills running down my spine, because I didn't know what it was at first. That was a crazy experience. Definitely a first for me on the trail. Guys, there's a herd of elk in front of me. I want to zoom in, see if we can see it. There's one looking at me right now. He's a big boy, right there. There's a whole herd of them right there. Wow. That's a pretty awesome sight. Sorry, I can't keep the camera still as I'm really zoomed in. Unfortunately, I'm not heading in their direction. I'm walking away from them now. But there's the last one. I can see a big old rack on him. Look at that rack. Wow. He's turning around looking at me every now and then. Oh, I wish I could get a better view. And there's, up to the right of him, there must be at least a half dozen. I don't see this kind of terrain every day. Pretty interesting. I just want to crawl in my tent and go to sleep. It is 5 o'clock. I'm at the halfway point, mile 36. It feels great to have put in a solid day and finally passed the halfway point. I'm not hurting real bad. Feet are a little sore, but nothing out of the ordinary. My biggest complaint right now is I'm tired. My body is telling me I need sleep, and I still have probably 6 miles I'm gonna try to go. I may have to hike in the dark just a little bit. I'm hoping to be at camp in about mile 42 around 7:30. Why am I doing this? I swear I completely forgot how miserable it feels after mile 30. I don't know how I did this 9.5 days in a row on the Sheltowee Trace. I just cannot believe it. And I had a lot of pain issues. I don't have the pain issues today, but I'm just so dang tired. I saw this in some other videos. This is so cool. It goes all the way up the hill to a spring coming out of a box. Been walking along this beautiful creek for about a half mile. There's a lot of places on this trail that remind me of Minister Creek and Laurel Highlands, as well as the Chateau Trace. More so the ones in Pennsylvania, but there's definitely some similarities in terrain on part of it that reminds me of the Chateau Trace too. I would definitely take that one if it was about 2 more miles down the trail. I just hit 40 miles. And it took me 13 hours. I was hoping to do it in 12, but it has been some super difficult terrain. I mean, steep ascents, and I'd have to stop and take a breather every now and then, and my pace was probably 1 mile an hour up those hills. I'm out in this big open field right now. This would be a perfect place to set up camp. But I think I'm gonna take my chances and try for 41 or 42, because I want to be sure that tomorrow's mileage is gonna be under 30. All right, let's go find some campsites. Now that I've made it up on top of this ridge, I got this really nice grassy path to walk on, make up a little time, and hopefully we'll be on this for a little while. I would love to set up camp right here along the trail somewhere. I have the lighting turned up a little bit so you can see this massive gorge, ravine, whatever you want to call it, that I have been going down for over a half mile and another half mile to go. It's just as high on the other side. I mean, I feel like I am walking down into the deepest pit. I hope I'm almost there. Less than a half mile to Wyckoff Run. Should be good water supply and good camping, I hope. I ended up finding a really nice campsite here at Wyckoff Run trailhead. Pretty close to the road, and I got a nice babbling brook right beside me. It's 9 o'clock. All my chores are done, all my camp chores, and I've eaten, and obviously you can see I'm laying down and I am getting some shut-eye now. It's about 9 o'clock and my alarm is set for 3. So I'll get at least 6 hours of sleep, get everything packed up, and hopefully be on the trail at 4 a.m. I ended up getting 42 and some change miles according to my Garmin and my Gaia, but on the map it says this is only at 40 miles. So I imagine I got about 31 miles to do tomorrow. Good morning. It's about 7 o'clock. I'm 8 miles in. This morning did not go quite according to plan. I got up at 3 o'clock, got all my chores done, ate breakfast, and was on the trail by 4, which was the plan. So things were going well. However, the spot that I chose to camp in had a little creek crossing to get to it with a little bit of rhododendron to step through. On my way back across the creek to get on the trail, the rhododendron tripped me up and kind of catapulted me into this 4-foot wide stream with 8 inches of water. I mean, I went face first into this stream. I was able to keep my head dry, my butt dry, my backpack. Everything was completely submerged and soaked, head to toe. Well, neck to toe. Even my camera went underwater, but it was in my fanny pack and it only got damp and I was able to dry it off right away, and fortunately it's still working. The lens cover's not shutting, but hopefully that'll dry out and work fine. So it's been a battle to keep my hands warm for the past 3 hours. I've been walking with one hand in my pocket, trying to warm it up, and then I'd switch hands because my gloves were soaked, even though I wrung them out. It has been cold because it's right at freezing this morning. Fortunately, everything else is pretty much dry now after 3 hours of walking. You cannot take this trail lightly. Holy moly. They have these deep valleys you come out of. They're called drafts. I have to keep looking up at my screen because Keeps losing focus. I hope I didn't ruin something getting this thing wet this morning. Anyway, these big long valleys, they're called drafts, and they're like a mile. So I mean, if you do this trail, just plan on walking uphill a mile at a time. Some of the smaller ones maybe only a half mile. Then you got to go down into them as well. My gosh, they are rough. I would not recommend doing this trail as an overnight like I am. No way. Unless you are bound and determined to set some kind of record. Who would do something like that? Whenever I get up on top of these drafts in the higher elevation, there's been real light dusting, nothing bad. It's definitely sticking to my shoes and making my feet cold. Still plugging away, but I just wanted to mention that I've pretty much abandoned my speed hike today, day 2, Sunday. I haven't been able to run because of the difficulty of the terrain, and I've been kind of queasy. My stomach's been really queasy all morning. I even gagged a couple times on my Cliff Bar, and from falling in the water. So those 3 things combined are really slowing me down, and I'm still going to finish today. I'm probably just going to be moving about 2.5 miles an hour. I'm not going to be speed walking or jogging much at all today. I'll still get out today, mid to late afternoon, but it's definitely going to hurt my overall time. Yesterday was pretty good, but today is very, very slow. Just taking a little break here at high noon. I made it to mile 20. That's always my goal, is to get 20 miles in by noon. The difference is it took me 2 hours, almost 2 hours longer today than yesterday, because I haven't run once. But I can hear the Quehanna Highway down below. Got about a half-mile walk across the Quehanna Highway, and then at that point, maybe even before that point, we are on our final 10 or 11 miles. So we're getting there. 4 or 5 o'clock, I should be rolling off this trail. I am really looking forward to it. Got about a half-mile forest road walk, gravel, nice packed down gravel. And this is about the only one. There's a couple others, short ones, maybe a 50 or 100 yards, kind of just crossing the road. But I'm starting to get that warm, fuzzy feeling inside. The feeling that you get when you can sense the end is near. It's almost the same feeling as a road race or a cross-country race when you know you're on the last half mile. Even though I still got about 6, at least. It feels really close. I believe this is the final draft. And it's a doozy. I know the camera doesn't show how steep this is, but it just goes up and up and up a solid half mile. I'm about halfway through it. I'll be so glad when I'm done with these. I would take a little bit of road walking right now, to be honest. So I just pulled my map out to double check the mileage, and I'm on this road, this forest road, for 4.3 miles. A little farther than I thought. That's all right. At least we're done with all the hills and rocks. This is probably going to take me an hour and a half because I'm beat. Boy, was I wrong about that road walk. It only lasted like a half mile, and then right back into some brutal hills, roots, and rocks. This is killing me. There's the end, guys. I'm just about there. Complete misery. These last 2 miles about freaking killed me. Oh. Touch the sign, turn off the Garmin. I got the Garmin off. 4:30. Yes, I did it. Come on, zoom in there, or focus. Okay, I completed the Quehanna loop in one day, 10 hours and 40 minutes, or 34 hours and 40 minutes. That's the official time. When I get home, I'll get it all posted to the FKT site. Oh, feels so good to be sitting in my truck. Oh my gosh. What a beautiful, diverse, and rugged trail. If you are into seeing wildlife, it's a great trail because I saw grouse, numerous herds of deer, and a herd of elk as well. So that was pretty cool. Lots of fantastic camping along the way. Several sites that I wish I could have stopped and stayed at. Far more rocks than I ever expected. So I would recommend bringing trekking poles for sure. But a lot of water, creeks and streams and rivers continually throughout the trail. And it reminded me a lot of many different trails that I've been on in the past. There were sections that looked like Dolly Sods. There were sections that reminded me of the Foothills Trail. Other sections that looked like the West Rim or Minister Creek here in PA. So you get a little bit of everything on this trail. It is really amazing, and it was a lot different than I expected. So I'm so glad that I was able to come out here and tackle the Quehanna Trail. Guys, thanks for coming along on my journey, and until next time, I'm Jason Wish, wishing you a great time on your next adventure.